out the chain. Richard Hart, genius, he's ahead of the game. Legacy eternal in the Hall of Fame. Hex flags, I'm sticking with finesse. Ain't quiet, climbing, watch the gains manifest. Pulse in my veins, decentralized crest. Richard lit the torch, now we roll with the best.
G'day everybody and welcome to the Crypto Happy Hour, and g'day to my old mate True Blue. How you going there, buddy?
Yo, man. Yeah, good. Smashing it out. Still hodling.
Sick.
Put up a post today, just like everyone just hodl. Like it's all good. So how about yourself?
Yeah. Pretty good. Been playing around with some AI. Some would say that intro had a bit of AI in it.
Yeah.
That was, believe it or not, was actually Eric Wall dancing, legit. But yeah, the music was AI.
Yeah, it's gold. Nice.
So that was pretty funny.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, so no, there's been heaps happening in crypto, like just non-stop headlines. But the thing that's, I guess, dwarfed everything today is the sort of the beef between Elon and Trump.
Yeah, exactly. No more bromance. It's all changed pretty quickly. It's been like a couple of days. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, so I mean, there's that whole thing that, you know, all the world is a stage. So it does make me wonder. I mean, how much of this do you think is orchestrated and how much is legit?
Yeah. What part of it is orchestrated? Was the friendship orchestrated, or is the beef orchestrated? Yeah, which one is it? Or yeah, it's quite interesting. We will see, won't we? See how it unfolds.
I mean, it's just the tit for tat nature of it, like the way that they're sort of going back and forth. It almost seems a bit scripted, but maybe there's just a literal blow up. Like they just having a go at each other in a very public fashion.
That's right. I mean, I can see Trump doing that easily. I mean, I didn't see this coming personally, but I would have thought Elon, I don't know, he wouldn't respond as tit for tat as he is at the moment. But yeah, Trump's always been ruthless and a little bit childish like that. But yeah, it's
well, I mean, there's a couple of things, I guess. So it could be, you know, sometimes you can attribute malice where there is none, and it could be incompetence, it could be orchestration, it could be spin. So I'm hesitant to sort of without knowing enough of, you know, about it to make any declarative statements. But, you know, if you were, say, for example, if you were in the political, you know, republic sort of spin paradigm, and you were trying to release the Epstein files, for example, because you knew that there were some high profile Democrats on there.
Yeah.
What better way to release it than to get the Democrats to demand that it be released?
Yeah.
You know 100%. What I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So that you just sort of go, well, I'll get, you know, Elon to say that you're on the list and then this and that and allege it. And then the Democrats will demand that they release the list. And then they release it, and then it's the blowback, you know, and then turns out maybe Trump wasn't on the list. You know what I mean? So, but then he just doesn't sue him because they're bros. Like, you don't know exactly how it's going to play out.
Exactly. Bit of game theory behind it, maybe. Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
they're not,
By the sounds
you
of
know,
it, Trump is on like a flight record list. But whether or not he actually was involved in anything or actually went there,
I mean,
was,
that's public knowledge already, I think.
yeah, that's
that
right.
he was sort of on a plane and this and that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, does that indict him? I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. I mean, from wrongdoing, like, I guess it's a touchy subject, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
sure
not
is.
expert on it or anything, but it's like there would have been people that went to P Diddy's party or whatever just because they were like, oh, cool, I like parties, like,
Yeah,
let's go, like, rap party or whatever, and then like they just weren't involved in like some of the dodgy stuff that went on.
Yeah.
But maybe they just were like, oh, I've been invited, like, without knowing that there's some sinister stuff going on.
Yeah, they didn't
Then
realize
it's
they'd come out covered in baby oil. Yeah.
Well, and then if he's drugging people with that baby oil, like, that
Oh.
was crazy when I read about that they confiscated, like, I don't know what it was, but like, 50 gallons of baby oil, and you're thinking, why would they, unless they were sampling it and maybe there was drugs or something,
True.
But then, yeah, like I say, like, people might have just gone to that party for a drink or something and then left. But then it's like they were at the party. So then you kind of go, well, it indicts them by implication. But
Exactly.
whereas you still need evidence, really, to be able to. Anyway, the whole thing's pretty messy. It's sort of not really, I don't know anything about it, so it's not really my area of expertise there.
That's right. Would you call this a black swan? I saw a few people on there, talking about that, saying, would you classify it as one?
We keep having black swans, bro. Like, it's like a flock of them, At what point is it just we're climbing the wall of worry?
That's right.
So, because you have, tariff FUD, and then markets crash, Japanese carry trade, whatever, no, and then whatever, Elon Musk, yada yada yada. But at the end of the day, like, if Bitcoin is just stepping up each time, making new higher highs, it's just climbing the wall of worry. Like, you need worry for people to sort of short it, and then people get liquidated. I mean, that's how these exchanges and people make money. And it's also how the elite scoop up deals, right? Like, they fabricate FUD, they create a crash, and then they buy the lows. Like, if what better way to predict the news than if you create the news?
Exactly. Yeah. There's all that type of manipulation that goes on all the time. So, yes.
Yeah. Let us know in the chat. Do you think this FUD is orchestrated, manipulated, just, or is it on face value, just too high profile people who haven't had enough sleep, just getting a bit snarky?
Exactly.
Either way, we're going to have some fun. What is up, Duke of Booze? Cheers, everyone. One of my favorite shows. Oh, that's very nice to say.
Yeah.
Happy I won't be there live broadcast. Cheers to you, sir.
Yeah, legend.
Yeah, what a champion. What's up, HEXican lost in Asia? LFG for sure. That's the spirit. We can still be bullish.
Exactly. Someone needs to be. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sort of perma bullish for this whole year until, Christmas.
Yeah.
And then, like, if my bag's still wrecked, I'm going to be like, damn, that, that bear market had hands. Like, I got stitched. But
indeed,
until you sell, like, you haven't locked in any losses. So we shall see.
That's it.
Oi, oi, Red Squirrel. What is up? What is up? Class. Eric, are you okay? Are you okay, Eric? Yeah, originally that had Michael Jackson over it. So clearly, I had to make up an AI song to go over it because we got that copyright strike the other day.
Yeah. Oh, what's wrong with two in 2 weeks?
Can you believe that the Oscars were like, oh, bro, you can't pretend that Richard Hart was getting an Oscars with a fake, like, Hex logo, like, on the Oscar.
Crazy. That was ridiculous.
If anyone thinks that that's the Oscars, like, what?
I mean, because we get thousands of viewers. We're really going to change everyone's perception on what happened, with fake news.
Everyone's just like, oh my God, did Richard Hart get an Oscar? Wow,
Yeah,
that's some serious Mandela effect. I don't remember that happening. And why were all the people in the crowd crypto logos? Like, there's no confusion that that's having a laugh. Like, it's not. Why would they need to copyright strike that?
absolutely crazy. Oh well, someone has to
Anyway,
spoil the fun, don't they?
yeah, that's right. Anyway, that was weeks ago. So we'll we'll get new copyright strikes this week.
That's right.
Yes, is it legit? Are they just controlling markets? Not sure. Obese Spark Driver. What's up?
G'day,
What's
g'day.
up?
What's up, man?
Newcomer there. Good to see you,
So,
mate.
hopefully, given that name, hopefully you're following Richard Hart's workout plan at the moment.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
How you going with that, Dozza? How are your benches and
Yeah.
pull-ups going?
Well, I do incline bench.
Yeah.
And I roughly incline bench, I think whatever he was saying anyway, which is like, was it kind of, because it's in kilos, like 90 kilos.
Yeah.
It's like a 185 or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I do that, but I do it like twice a week, you know, but amongst other,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I do dips, tricep dips, and you know, lat pull downs, deadlifts, leg press. What else? I do assisted pull-ups, which is, I know, it's a bit weak sauce.
No, they're good. I do them too. Like for heaps of reps, I do. So
yeah. I used to
killer.
smash chin-ups. So I had a chin-up bar and I used to do it, but I stopped doing it for ages. And I went back and I was like, oh yeah, I can smash chin-ups. And I was like, it's wickedly hard.
It's amazing how much different it is though doing chin-ups versus like pull-ups with your hands, you know, other way around. Given you're not using your biceps as much, makes a huge difference for me anyway. So.
Yeah, I can do. So what is it when it's like reverse grip like that? Is that a pull-up or a chin-up?
That's a chin-up. Yeah, normally that's a chin-up. Yeah.
Yeah, I can do chin-ups, but I can't do like muscle-ups and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you need like technique for that as well, that I've noticed, and a high ceiling.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like if you've got those chin-up bars like in between a door frame, it's like really hard.
Yeah, exactly. Especially at your height, man. Go straight through the roof. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, have you been doing any work? Because his RH's workout thing was more like consistency. Like he was just saying, just do like one set, every day, which I thought was, I don't know. By the time I go to the gym, like I'm not just going to do one set. Like I might as well.
My
set each.
Exactly. Yeah. My thoughts around that is like maybe that means he's, you know, too busy to be doing, you know, isolated workouts of, you know, all different stuff all week, and just smashing that out as like a minimum is awesome to get fit and strong and you know, all the basics down. So maybe that's also trying to tell us that he's busy doing other stuff, so this is a quick workout you can do. So I see that as kind of bullish, but myself, I'm doing a bit what you do, you know, 5 or 6 different exercises at the gym, and you know, a few sets of each, and change it out, you know, throughout the week. So
awesome.
No,
that's good. Cool. I mean, that's the thing. It's like if you can mix it up a bit and do, you know, chest and shoulders one day and then legs another day, but because I do martial arts, I do a lot of legs, like when I'm doing martial arts, like a lot of
for sure,
and cardio. So then when I go to the gym, it's just like I mainly don't concentrate on like calves and things like that, you know. But it's funny because it's like there's that old adage where people go, oh, calves are the hardest muscle to like grow, and it's like, yeah, but how often do you train them though?
That's right.
Like you never actually train them. So
exactly. And at the end of the day, from what I've like looked into, a lot of that is down to genetics. Some people just can't, like calf muscles are so hit and miss whether people can actually build good ones or not. It really depends just on genetics, if you've got, you know, lots of potential around your calves or not. But it's,
I mean, I'm not going in any shows or anything, so I don't worry about that stuff. But.
That's right. Yeah, doing what you do, martial arts as well, is you know, that would be helping all those muscles out. So you'd almost need a recovery day after that sometimes if you're going hard enough. So
100%. Yeah. So no, I was training last night. Yeah, and we do a lot of like also chain throws and things like that, where you do a throw, then they sort of do a counter to the throw, and then you change to a different throw, and then so you're still taking down. So, and you just do that constantly for like 45 minutes. So
That's
you're just like literally just getting thrown, like, and then taking turns just getting thrown, and it's like it's full on.
Yeah,
but no, it's good value.
That's it. I was thinking the other day when Richard posted up about the workout plan, you know, we've talked about gym a few times in a bit, you know, offline as well, messaging and that, and saying, oh, you know, people might not get into it, but seeing his post about it and how much attention it's getting, it, you know, it shows clearly that people are interested in talking about it and listening about it as well. So yeah, I think it's really cool. It's sort of brought a bit of camaraderie into the community, and whether he's doing it for his own drive, you know, to give himself keep himself accountable, or if he's doing it as an engagement thing, either way it's good.
Yeah, exactly. Either way, like it's a delayed gratification thing, it's a discipline thing.
Yeah.
And it's a, you know, respecting your body and helping your longevity. Like there's a lot of things like for general immunity, like having good muscle, good joint movement, mobility, all of that stuff is like hugely important for longevity and immunity, immune system. So that's great. But it also might be, like you say, maybe he's coming back as ripped Richard, and he's just trying to get the summer bod ready for some streaming.
That's it. That's it. Should be good.
Because like he was giving, I think, Elon a bit of grief today, like for like tongue in cheek for why doesn't Elon just do a live stream?
Yeah.
And then he was like, you know, in before people tell me to stream or something like that.
Yeah. No, it's pretty good. I like that too. And it's truth to it. But yeah, we want Richard back as well. I just think
Richard, if you want to come on, bro, if you want to come on, you're welcome to come on the Crypto Happy Hour.
Yeah, if you're one of our 19,000 viewers at the moment, feel free.
Exactly. Just come on. I'll put the or he might have to follow me, but then I could give him the DM.
That's it.
He used to follow me. That was the sad thing. But then he unfollowed everyone. Yeah. Anyway. So a couple of things. Yeah, let's just quick say hello to the chat. They're the best market makers on the planet. This is collusion at its finest for a hard landing to get JP to pump it. Yes, that is true. So the Fed has been holding all the cards here, and they're refusing to cut rates. So maybe it's like he's doing a few of these things to try and spook the markets, trying to get JP to cut rates. It is interesting because you know, if you think about it, it's like, you know, Elon was in charge, the Doge cutting you know, fraud and wasted expenditure, and they did a reasonable job of it, of course. And some of that stuff was just dumb, right? Like that needed to get scrapped.
Yeah.
But every president or every administration that's been in, they always do this. They always try and cut spending, and they always use it to talk tough to get elected. Obama did it. There's some very famous, you know, Obama speeches where he's saying exactly what Elon was saying about getting tough on spending and all this sort of stuff, and no one lost their mind. But it was just because this is the rhetoric that everyone does to get elected. But the reality is, when you get in, if you are cutting expenditure, for like government expenditure, then that means that there's a whole bunch of companies that are getting less money out there. And the electorate just don't like it. Like, it's just bad politics, like, to reduce spending. It's what they should do, but it's like a real tough pill to swallow for any administration to actually cut back on spending. And things like the military expenditure, like that's the elephant in the room, right? Like, they spend over, you know, $1 trillion a year on the military expenditure.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you could cut that back from, you know, a couple of $1 billion a day to just, you know, maybe $1 billion a day. And you've just saved like $700 billion or something.
Yeah, that's right.
But they're not going to do that. Like, they never cut the military budget, and it was almost as if that was off limits.
Yeah.
So maybe that might have upset Elon, but that he wasn't able to do that, because they would have been able to do some serious cutting if they did that. But then maybe that's like just an unspoken thing. So yeah, I think it's always a bit like just bad politics. Like, it's bad for the administration to cut in spending, even though that's what they should be doing. It's like the maybe the people that they've like the lobbyists and things like that have paid in votes, they don't like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
So you got to keep your electorate happy, unfortunately, and this is like the flaw in the system, really.
Exactly.
I just wanted to bring this up really quickly because I thought this was hilarious. This is a hexologist. He did a post the other day.
He's been
Skibbity
smashing it lately. It's
Oh
good.
man, so funny. Hey, if you don't follow hexologists, you have to, just purely for the humor. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Skibbity toilet coin. What universe do I live in? So yeah, check this out. This is funny.
So we have a bill here that opens the door to bailouts and to purchases of crypto. And there's no restriction that it be Ethereum or Bitcoin. It could be Trump coin, Mongoose coin, or Skippity toilet coin. So,
Look at the people in the background. They didn't even bat an eyelid.
Well, I can't hear that without laughing. It's so funny.
That
Mongoose
is
coin,
great.
Skippity toilet coin. What?
It's pretty much getting that bad. It's getting that
It's
bad.
like, I just sometimes think, well, at least I didn't go all in on Skippity toilet coin, because but it's almost like he's ag of it, because like, why would he bring that up? Like, it's a coin that's been around for, I don't know, like at least like a year or something.
Yeah, what's the chart like at that timestamp? Any good?
Oh, yeah. No, I think it went up, right? Like, he had a bag and he soft shielded during his professional hearing or whatever.
Yeah.
He's just trying to like just pump his own bags for Skibbity toilet coin.
Exactly. That's gold.
Anyway, so yeah, there's things like that going on. But there's actually some really good stuff that's been happening in the news as well. So, like, advancing of crypto, I would say.
Yeah.
There's things like Circle is now publicly listed on the New York Stock Exchange. So Circle's obviously behind USDC.
That's killer. Yeah. Massive.
And I think their stock like rocketed on the launch. So
yeah,
it'll probably, pump and dump like every other, meme coin. But I guess this is on the stock exchange, so we shall see. But from their IPO price, I think is what it went up hugely from their IPO price. JP Morgan to accept Bitcoin and crypto ETFs as collateral for loans. So that's really interesting, because I guess this is the thing about never selling. And I watched a lot of that Bitcoin conference during the week.
Yep.
Did you catch any of that?
I didn't get into any of it really. If there's anything that stands out, you should send it through. But yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, well, so I went through it. I watched nearly some of it, and I got the best bits, right? So
yeah,
I've got a few clips I can show you later.
Oh, wicked, yeah.
But yeah, there was Jack Mallers. He was talking about a couple of good things, but one of them was that I think that strike thing, you can get loans out against your Bitcoin. So it's that idea of like the rich and the wealthy, they never sell down their assets. Like if you had, early days real estate in Manhattan, like if you sold it to pay for school tuition or whatever, then you would have been spewing, because like that's one of the most scarce real estates on the planet. Yeah. But they didn't. They just borrowed against it, and then they built houses and they did all stuff. And that's just how people, like rich people, I think even Elon Musk, there was some law or like a Twitter company thing where they had to cap how much he could borrow against his shares, because he
Right on.
borrowed like he bought Twitter like $40 billion. So against his Tesla stock. Sorry.
Yep, yep.
It was the Tesla board that they put a cap on how much he could borrow against his Tesla stock to buy Twitter. And it was like, you know, something ridiculous, like $40 billion or something.
That is nuts. Yeah.
So, and because when you sell an asset like your stock or whatever, you create a capital gains event. So then you have to pay tax. Whereas if you borrow against it, depending on your jurisdiction, my understanding is that you're not taxed on the loan.
Yeah.
So the idea that people can use their ETFs, which is like fake Bitcoin, right? People who are just buying Bitcoin on the stock exchange because they don't trust, you know, actual Bitcoin, then they can borrow against it through JP Morgan.
Yeah.
So which is obviously a huge bank. Like that's pretty big, I thought.
That is massive. And I think it's good if then, because the spot back ETF, obviously someone's holding the Bitcoin custody, but they're buying a representation of it, like you're saying. So yeah, hopefully if that holds all that Bitcoin sitting there away and people are taking loans on it, and there's going to be, there's more and more places you can do that, even with DeFi now as well. So I guess that's probably why a lot of people are saying that Bitcoin might not drop as far this cycle after the bull market. Going into the next bear, there's a lot of talk of it, not crashing majorly. And I know that's, I see you smiling there. That's what gets said a lot of the time. But I can see it slowly becoming reality, because we know over time it's going to be less volatile.
I agree. I agree with what you're saying. Like in terms of the more liquidity that there is in the system, the more, the less volatile it's going to be. So it won't go down as much because there's so much more liquidity now, so many more dollars. Yeah,
and if these buyers and stuff are respected, and whoever's holding it custody is actually holding on to the Bitcoin and not trading it in the background, and selling it at the highs, then it is more just sitting there and not being sold off. So see what happens.
Look, I like the sentiment. In fact, I encourage it, and I really want everyone to think that Bitcoin will never go down. It's going to keep going up forever.
Yeah.
And that's so I can sell my bags at the top, because I don't believe it. And I think that I've heard it before, but if it does, then that's wicked. And I think that, this whole institutional buyers and stuff, I think it sounds great, but I've literally heard this exact same thing in 2017 and 2020, all that, so 2021. So now I'm just like super skeptical of it. So I'd like to be proven wrong.
Yeah.
But I really want everyone to sort of say that. I really want them all to sort of say that.
Yeah, keep the sentiment.
Bitcoin is, it's like this, it's the scarcest asset in the world, and it's just never going down. But I think what will actually happen is that these institutions are going to get wrecked like everyone else. And they're going to find out there's a reason why there's outsized returns, and it's because the volatility goes to the downside as well.
That's it.
And so you probably may not see an 85% retracement, but you might see a 75%. Like
100%. Yeah, exactly.
It's just so it's interesting, because we're all assuming that these big institutions are going to hold. But I saw recently that so BlackRock had just sold $561 million worth of Bitcoin, and then they purchased $15 million of ETH.
Yeah.
So it's like they're trading as well. Like
absolutely.
Maybe not to the level that you got old mate James Wynn, who's getting liquidated 3 times a day.
Yeah, that's right.
Did you see that shit?
That was ridiculous. Absolutely
massive.
Is he doing? But they reckon it's probably a little bit staged in the way of like, trying to bring, throw signals around, and throw people off and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, they're real trades and real liquidations. So
he ran up it was like 4 million. He ran it up to like, how much was it? It was like 9 or like 100 million.
Yeah.
And then he went down to like negative 13 million. Like he lost
Yeah.
like $100 million in a week, and then in a day. And then he said, he tweeted about it, and he goes, "Look, guys, $0.1 billion is not a lot of money.
Not a lot of money. Yeah, exactly.
0.1 billion. Like, come on, 0.1
Yeah.
billy. Like,
that's just showing off, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, it almost seemed genuine, and you can kind of understand this, where if these guys are dealing with that sort of money, that they're sort of like, well, if he's already got $100 million, then what's another 100 million? Like, how much is it going to change his life? What he needs is billions to become like ultra wealthy, so he's willing to risk hundreds of millions, because it's like,
Right.
it's not it's almost like, say, if you had like $10,000 in crypto, then you were, or in BTC, and then you got it 2x, and you're like, oh, now I've got 20,000. Oh, I still have to go to work tomorrow. Like, that's not actually going to change my life. Like, damn. And then hence why we take on more risk and get turbo wrecked when
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Trump and Elon have a beef.
Yeah.
But yeah, so maybe he's just thinking like, if he's getting another 100 million, like for him, that's not a lot of money, but damn, that just makes me feel sad. I think that he lost 100 million, and it's like no big deal.
Pretty epic. So I think I saw another bit of a almost like a signal that we're going to be going up soon, which is, well, I guess it could be all going down soon. But I saw the SwiftX exchange, which is, for people overseas, it's, Australia is probably second biggest or whatever,
Right.
centralized exchange. They're bringing in leverage trading on there. So that's a dodgy thing, like buyer beware, and people love to gamble. But that sort of tells me that they're trying to time it, get it in before we start running up. So and then they can make a heap when it starts going back the other way. So
look, it's the 4 L's, bro. Ladies, liquor, leverage, and luggage.
Luggage,
like, don't mess with them,
Yeah, exactly.
Karim will tell you. It's like any one of the L's can set you up. So like the leverage thing, I just think it's a bad idea. I've never done it. But from all reports, just 90% of people get wrecked on leverage. So
exactly,
I guess you get scam wicks and things like that. And so with James Wynn, he was getting hunted. Like, he was like saying,
well, why wouldn't you be?
Yeah, exactly. Because they're like, if we drop the price, if we manipulate the price of BTC down by, $1,000, and then he gets liquidated, it's going to drop it down another $1,000 or whatever, $2,000, and then they can just buy back lower. Exactly. And then they've made it so they're incentivized to liquidate him. So these public trades, I just don't know why he would do it, unless it's, like you say, maybe a bit of manipulation. But he was doing a thing during the week. He was saying he had like a donation address, and he's like, help me. And it's like, what? You want like me to put in my $15 so that you can go and turbo leverage and then just get wrecked again?
Like, send you 0.05 ETH. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And he's like, help me buy Bitcoin so that I don't get liquidated. I'm like, bro, I said, do us all a favor and short ETH.
Yeah, exactly.
Just literally short ETH so that they pump ETH up to wreck you. Like, that's the best thing you can do for us.
Hell yeah.
That's about I'm willing to participate in this shit show that you've got going on.
Yeah, indeed.
But anyway, let's see what the chat thinks. Is anyone James winning out there on turbo leverage, or are they getting wrecked?
Listening to some of the spaces occasionally, especially like the PulseChain ones, there's people that make it sound like they're making so much money on PulseChain at the moment. And it's like, I can see, there's some people that are good at trading and whatnot, and you have luck and whatever. But unless you're making coins and rugging them, there's a few that have done some really good run-ups if you're really early. But other than that, I really think there's just a lot of talk and people just, trying to put fear into other people, or, stand up taller than them and come across more powerful. And it's just, it's just really weird because the way they're talking about these huge gains they've just recently made, it's like,
Yeah,
where?
but so
Show me where.
that,
With it, did you sell?
bro,
Was there liquidity? Do you know? Not just like show me your coin that went up 10,000%.
yeah. So what this is, I reckon, and I don't want to be, because obviously there's people out there that make lots of money and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But I suspect what it is people talking percentages.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, I'm killing it this week, bro. Like I have made, I'm just nailing this. I've made, 500% or 700%, 1,000%. And then it's like on your $14 buy, you made, 500%. Yeah. Okay. You made $100, bro. Like,
exactly.
Oh, what? It's like a ham sandwich,
Barely.
So,
Yep.
They're like, oh, I've made 200% gain, 70% gain. Yeah, but if you put in $20, man, then you made $2. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
It's not a big flex.
Yeah,
like,
that's right.
Tell me the dollar amount.
Yeah.
And how much you got out. Like you said, because the liquidity counts.
Exactly.
If you can't extract like meaningful amounts of money because that's such low liquidity, then yeah, you made a 700% gain. You made $200. That's wicked. But it's different if you say you made 200 grand. Then well, that's wicked. Like, how did you do that?
Yeah.
But no, these memes, they're so low liquidity. People are putting in peanuts and they're getting a button out of it, and they're like, I did really well. I got 2 buttons, almost enough to buy a pumpkin. And you're like, oh but that's still like, you could have just gone to work, bro, and just bought a pumpkin.
I hear there's a guy that likes to go to the gym that gets on the stream every now and then that reckons he's been making heaps on other chains in the past few weeks. So maybe we need to get some of his advice.
Oh, are you talking about Jim Rat?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, bro, that was so entertaining, that stream. That was so entertaining, the RH Max debate thing. Oh, look, I actually like Jim Rat, which is the thing. I've always liked him, and I think he's actually really honest. But he has gone perma-bear. It's like he took the dark side. Like he had like the choice of like digging in, like, because obviously he went away for a year, and came back maybe 2 years, and then like I guess he had a choice really there to sort of build up some solidarity with the community and kind of dig in. But no, he's just gone full Vader and just
almost like he's been hanging out with Dip Catcher or something. They're sort of.
Dip Catcher did the same thing, man.
Yeah.
Just went full dark side of the force.
Yeah.
And there was no need for it. Like,
no need.
There was no. It's not going to help you bags by fudding them publicly. Like, I don't understand that mindset. Just have a laugh.
We didn't really get an answer out of that either as to like why he thinks that's a good strategy. Because RH Max asked that, like what, how do you see this is going to help your bags that you're talking about that are down and not going anywhere? But yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of explanation in it. So
I think, in some regard, it's because what Jim Rat was trying to do was to poke at RH's ego and sort of say, and try and be a catalyst for change. So to try and sort of say, well, if you, it's basically the whole argument boils down to, you've got decentralization, true decentralization, not like fake, like L2, like sequencer, vulnerabilities, or SUI that just shuts down the chain and then goes, now we're going to get the validators to vote to undo like a DEX hack, or Solana with their fake decentralization and centralized ownership of validators, all this sort of stuff. So you've got true decentralization, which I think is important, right? In one of the most important things in the the ethos of crypto. You've got true decentralization in PulseChain. You've got permissionlessness. You've got trustlessness. You've got all these things where you don't have a middleman in there. You have some really great things, And then on the other side of things, you've just got, yeah, but look at this chart. Like this chart. So this is the counter. That's basically like the Jim Rat argument. Is like the chart is down bad.
Yeah.
And I 100% agree. It takes the wind out of our sails to sort of stand on a high horse and say, look, we've got all these great things, but then our chart looks wrecked. But it's only for this time frame. So that's only true for this portion of time. So it's not going to be true for all time. That's only true for right now. So then in a year's time, you might, that argument may not hold up, but the argument that it's decentralized will hold up for all time, like for over time.
Yes.
But the argument that we're down bad and therefore that negates all the good things about PulseChain, that only makes sense for right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I find it all a bit strange. There was a post, and I'm only bringing it up because he hasn't responded to me yet. It was easy, if, he was responding until he didn't. But yeah, he said to me like that Binance is superior to PulseChain by 1 million, and I'm like, well, price-wise, yeah, but as it's a centralized exchange, and it's, there's no real comparison in the way of what it is. But if it's just talking about price, then sure, it's up.
Yeah, if all you care about is price, then yeah, sure. I mean, Skibbity Toilet Coin might have outperformed Hex, but like, where's the liquidity and all that sort of stuff. But like you say, Binance, if you have your money on these centralized exchanges, not only can they, it's just literally like they have access to your safe, like to your wallets. Like they
not
can just
only
take
is it
that
not
money.
yours,
Yeah, they have access to it.
Yeah.
So they can go down when you are trying to sell tops and you can't withdraw, and it can go down when it's crashing and you can't get out. There's all sorts of things like that. They can just disappear. I mean, Mt. Gox for a reason is like, that's a thing for a reason, right? That was an exchange where everyone just lost all their shit. So you can't come back from zero. Like you can come back from 99% down, but you can't come back from zero. If you've actually gone, like the exchange is no longer there. Maybe in 10 years time or whatever, you can get some lawsuit. You might claw some of it back if you're lucky, but not everyone does. Like that with Celsius and things like that. Sure, some people got paid out, but not everyone.
Yeah.
So putting your custody of your coins in with a trusted middleman is a bad idea, and I think you can literally just lose all of your coins. So there's a thing that was actually recent. I think Brett was talking about it. I can pull it up. This is a bit of legislation that just came out. This is the California Assembly Bill 1052, the Digital Financial Assets Law.
Yep.
So Brett did like a grok thing where he, summarized it. And I'd also seen this elsewhere. But if you look down through it, basically there's this thing where it has unclaimed property law updates. And it says, California's unclaimed property law, the bill establishes a process for handling unclaimed digital assets, such as cryptocurrencies held in exchange accounts. If an account remains inactive for 3 years, the state can take custody of the assets.
Wowzers.
So if you're hodling on an exchange for over 3 years, they assume that you've like died or something, and they just take your shit.
Yeah. That's crazy.
What? That's not cool. Not your keys, not your coins. But they're introducing laws to say that that's like unclaimed if you haven't touched it for 3 years. So
Fair enough.
I wouldn't be keeping myself on exchanges personally. Maybe some as like a hedge against, whatever, hardware wallets, failure or something. You could always do something like that. Or if you're doing some sort of trading or whatever, stop losses and things like that, or
little bit
Yeah,
here and there.
that's
It's
interesting.
pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I don't think it's, but it's
Yeah.
like a hot wallet. You have to assume that if you've got a hot wallet and you're going to be doing some dodgy trades with meme coins, like, yeah, you could lose all of that.
Yeah.
So only put in amount that you're literally prepared to lose.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
anyway, look, I hope that Jimac can come back from the dark side. Because like I say, I actually like him. I think he's very truthful, genuine sort of guy. But the FUD, man, it's off the charts. Like, I don't want to hear it. The negativity, it's like, save it for your wife's boyfriend or whatever. I just don't want to hear it on the timeline, basically.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think once he's got the kind of engagement he either needs or wants, whatever it is at the moment, I'm sure he'll come back around. I think it seems to be working for him in his opinion. I don't see how it's working for him, but I see him talking about, we need to bring YouTube streams back to being great again, and the comments going off and that. And it's like, most of the streams I see, there's plenty of comments. Not on his. Ours aren't huge either, but we have probably less followers than him anyway. But yeah, I just think, I think he might be in it for a bit of engagement at the moment, and the comeback tour type thing.
When the Hex chart starts going up and PulseChain and PulseX and all that sort of stuff, there'll be a bit of mind changing going on.
Yeah, 100%. That's
so we're
right.
going to see a lot of people come out of the woodwork. So
yeah.
But anyway, look, we have been here streaming for 92 weeks straight.
Goodness.
There you go. Episode 92. So you could say that you could probably criticize us in lots of different ways, but at least we've been here for nearly 2 years through the bear. And we've never asked for money. We've never done any sacrifices. We've never taken anything from the community, only given things.
We haven't flooded your bags much either.
I try not to FUD your bags. And if I do FUD, I keep that shit to myself, like, in like a private, signal chat or whatever. I might be like, God damn, my net worth or whatever is just gone. And then the next day it comes back up anyway.
Yeah.
So just one day.
If Dozza starts flooding bags, I go in there in the private chat and pat him on the back and say, it'll all be okay, man. It's all good.
That's it. And that's when you smash by, and then it comes in.
That's right.
Like, shit, if Dozza's fudding, then it's like, it's time to buy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with Ash. We need to pump ASAP. It would be nice to see some Flora's Lava tweets right now. Like, if we just pumped out of nowhere, that cool. I know RH, like, if you're watching, just do us a solid.
Yeah.
Or even the Solid X guy. Speaking of doing solid, like, what's he up to these days? The Fire Whale.
Yeah.
I think he was the one that was bridging in that 555 ETH the other day.
Yeah.
So what happened there, bro? Like, got lost in the mail.
Yeah, that's right.
Didn't see the pump. I saw the bridge in, but then I was like, ooh.
Yeah. Waiting for it. I think it's that sort of thing. People try to front run that. So, it's a good thing if they don't hit by, for them, it's a good thing to sort of just wait. It's a signal, and then just wait around. But I think he's still working, and what he's doing is actually pretty cool with that game. Trying to get licenses for, like, basically gambling licenses worldwide to be able to run this thing like legally and with no issues and nothing coming back to bite him. So it's actually pretty large amount of work for a little crypto game, but it should be.
That's crazy.
Should be a big thing. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. I hope it all works out.
There's another
part. Sorry, I was just going to say quickly, cheers to HEXiMofo, but we've also got another HEXiMofo down here. What is
Facebook? Sound all right? Testing 1, 2. Okay.
How's it going, mate?
It's good. The time for stream just rolled. It just rolled past, and I was like, oh no, I'm forgetting something.
That's right. All good. I thought Dozza was going to use the lost in the mail line to bring you up, but he waited a bit longer.
I was lost in the mail.
No, I was going for the HEXiMofo, so that was I was waiting for that setup.
That's gold.
But
So
yeah, man.
A little bit of alpha I heard on a space with the Fire Whale about a bridge that he's building. Apparently, yeah, I know. All right, you can go with classes. I was about to say, if she talks about
I was just going to sell a toe
put her in, but then it keeps going. We're going to put you in timeout in a minute if we keep going on about the toe fluff. Look, there's another one. There. Not cutesy toe fluff.
The actual, legit actual fluff. I'm not sure there's a market for classless toe fluff, but you know, people buy like, you know,
it's a free market.
Yeah, people are weird.
Sweeney's, whatever her name is, they buy her bath water or something, and it's like, what? That's gross, bro.
Yeah.
Oh
don't
man.
Stop.
You know how they do that? Like people will buy like something.
Anyway.
Yeah. All sorts of weird
It's a
stuff.
thing. It's a thing.
It is a thing.
You're trying to get a DNA so they can clone her.
Oh,
A hybrid robot bot.
yeah.
Oh goodness. That's a good way for the algo, man. Start talking about hybrids and
Yeah,
and all that. That'll get us going on YouTube. So
yeah,
cool. Yeah.
So sort of sex hybrid robot, you reckon?
Cloned from bath water.
Yeah, we'll check.
Yeah.
Bath water.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, indeed. So bringing it back, I'm going to reel it in.
Please do.
Firewire was talking about a bridge for this X Games thing that's going to be part of it to bring people onto PulseChain and multi-chain bridge, a bit like the Phantom wallet has. But he reckons that it can do it in about 40 seconds.
What?
And supposedly, and I don't have any proof of this, I only have what I heard him say on a space, is that the person that's working on this with him actually is part of RH's team. So it could be true, could be not true. I'm not trying to create hype. I'm just saying that's pretty exciting. If you know, we need more bridges, we need a fast bridge that will help bring adoption. But yeah, for that game, it's pretty important, because if people want to jump onto PulseChain to play it as opposed to another chain, it's going to be a bit of a holdback to be sitting there for 20 minutes waiting for a bridge. So if they can do this sort of stuff and the tech's getting that good, should be pretty exciting.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, bro. I mean, there is actually some people cooking for sure. There's this LibertySwap.finance. They've got a bridge, I guess, from Base and BSC and Arbitrum to PulseChain. So I believe this is legit, because RH brought it up and said, what do you guys think?
Do you know what the fees are and how long it takes?
Not really, but I saw that there's also HEXscout there's some other on-ramp that they've just got here. So it's like hexscout.com/buy.
Yeah.
And you can put in, you know, AUD or whatever, and then you can buy, I guess you can buy PLS or Hex or PulseX. And so I guess you can pay with Apple Pay, Visa, and Google Pay, that sort of stuff.
Is that the one that's awesome? Having this, is that the one that's like no KYC if it's $80 or less or something? It's like,
don't know.
Huge. Yeah, there's one of them.
I mean, I haven't used it, but I was like, that's pretty cool, right? Because sometimes the change now stuff doesn't work.
Yeah,
I've seen a few of those ones, but this one seems to work. Like AUD, you get 1 million pulse, whatever, $500. Is that right? 10 million pulse. 10 million pulse. Damn. Okay. Pulse is going down. So yeah, you can do it that way and just on ramp, or if you have your funds already on Base or BSC or whatever, you can just do a cross-chain swap. So there's a few cool on-ramps and bridges that have just popped up recently. And if the SolidX guys are going to do their thing, And I know there's also PortalX. For you can do cross-chain swaps
I think
from Solana.
PortalX is just a wraparound change now.
Yeah,
or at least it's like an aggregator, and there's not much sources of data yet.
Yeah, I think it uses Rubik. So Rubik has always done that as well. So I think it might just use that. But still, like it's there. Or you can just go through the original like bridge from Ethereum, and it's 0% fees, right? So
yeah, that's it. The other one I've used a little bit is the token SEX bridge as well. So yeah, that one works.
Yeah,
works fine as far as I'm concerned.
Just quickly in the chat, OB Spark Driver only work 2 days a week. That's still pretty good. 2 days a week is better than
me.
Nothing. Can't believe how harsh they've gone. Yeah, that is hectic.
Yeah.
8 viewers. This should be 80,000 viewers. My man.
True.
Legend. Yeah.
Correct.
Indeed. Indeed.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I think we're up to, I've got 35 live viewers apparently.
Yeah.
10 on X. And wow, it's a bad day for X. And 23 on YouTube. So
everything is really quiet at the moment. Like, you know, sometimes we get up the, 100 or something while we're live, or, a little bit more. But yeah, it's definitely quiet all around. I've noticed on streams at the moment. And the old Twitter bot thing that we joke about, sometimes some people say there's like, 10x the amount of people watching on Twitter as opposed to YouTube. I did some research, and that is actually more impressions than actual viewers, the Twitter number. So what we've been saying all along is pretty correct, that it's not accurate they're not necessarily bots, but it's more their impressions of the stream. So people going past it on their X account rather than actually tuning in and watching at that time. So when people say there's 5,000 people watching on X, it's probably 5.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, we always suspected as much. Like
exactly.
Because I've noticed, like, if you've got, when we had KG on or Fast Abdul, like, because they've got a lot of followers, then our views are like 500 views and things like that. But that's just mainly from X. So that's interesting. But yeah, look, I mean, I think we've got a loyal sort of 250 viewers that watch every week. So shout out to those guys. And then when the price goes up, it goes up to like 350, and the price goes down, it goes down to 150. So it's like there's like 100 people that are like,
it fluctuates with the market.
Screw this. Yeah, but there's probably a good at least 150 that'll watch it even when the price is down. So we appreciate you.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually nice to have that niche group of people that are always here. So yeah, we'd love it if you can like and share the streams every time you're watching. That would be amazing. And jump in the comments. If there's 32 of you watching, we haven't had 32 different people make a comment yet. So look,
I mean, like Hi Ho Hex is always here. Thank you for saying, commenting. And you can always just find something random about the stream and then just comment on the stream. I think that's good for the algo, where you just engage in the comments. So if it's Skibbity Toilet Coin, if that's what it is, then just let me know in the
that's your number one pick.
Yeah.
Kings.
Is there
just like
Quinny Gin is here. Some say Ginny Quinn.
What's up, man?
Depends on how many sherbets you've had.
That's it.
What is up, McNuggets? G'day, legends. You are a legend yourself, sir.
Indeed. What's up, man?
Doubled money on Teddy, $100. Yep, that sounds about right. I hope you cashed it out before the dip. Got a tip from a mate and made a 10x on 40K. Ooh,
very nice. That is epic.
Now we're talking.
Did you sell? Did you hit the sell? And if
the
you
next
did,
comment,
I have a bad habit of not selling.
Yes, the round trip. We've all done the round trip. We all
up and down.
That's it.
What is up, DJ Cryptomatic? How you going there, mate?
They're straight. Welcome. I got a bone to pick with DJ Cryptomatic. I almost had an injury at the gym today because of his stream. I was going pretty hard. I'm into like my, sort of do like a accumulation, build it up over a few weeks, and then work till failure real hard for a week. And I just started doing like the leg extension, and I was on like a heavy weight and really pushing. And then I can't remember what it was, but it was somewhere like in the first 10 minutes of the stream, someone cracked a joke, and I just like let go, and yeah, I couldn't help but like burst out laughing and almost pulled a bloody hammy on it, man. It was like, because on the stretch out, oh my goodness. So tune into DJ Cryptomatic for what the hex, but don't do it when you're at the gym because you'll probably hurt yourself.
Yeah, they're pretty funny. Yeah. I think they're very similar to us, like to have a laugh.
Indeed, yeah.
Rapid Unbox, what's up? What's up? Delayed gratification is real. Yes, it is delayed. So much delay.
It is with everything though, and putting it into context is good when you can actually see that it just takes a long time to get good stuff. Like that wooden thing you made, Base Radian, that you etched out with the engraver. Like that would have taken bloody ages to set up. Yeah.
To set up and get going, and it took a lot of like getting the design right as well, and the math behind the geometry, because I had to. There has to be like rules on how it works, right? Otherwise, it just does anything, and then you fuck.
Yeah, that looked hectic actually. The that CNC thing that you made, like programming all that up. I mean, obviously you are a programmer. That's your wheelhouse. But I was like, holy crap! How the hell did he do that?
Yeah, it's fun. It's just fun. I do it all the time. I think, like, I built a tool as well that basically you can prompt AI to make this code. So with a bit of prompting, it kind of works. So I'm using AI leverage, but
AI, basically AI your life is what I've been doing lately, where it's like I'm thinking, I want to make a quick that song in the intro with AI. I'll use an AI to like generate a prompt for the AI.
Yeah.
And then it's like done. Like literally like 2 minutes later, it's done. Like that's it. And then everything I think of, I'm just like, you know what? I think I'll just AI this shit. Like, and then it's amazing how many times
we're getting lazy though. We're getting like lazy. Like
but it's for people who aren't using it. Like it's a full edge over those people. Like
it is a full edge. It is it is. I was in the beta for ChatGPT 2. And ChatGPT 3 just came out, and no one had it. And we hadn't gone through that whole social media popping off of like ChatGPT is a thing yet. And so I used it, man. I used it for so much crap that I really shouldn't have used it for. And like I just got away with it because no one knew it existed. I was like, this is crazy. This is insane.
It's so good. Like it's exponentially getting really good. So I mean, there's obviously the singularity sort of downside where it's going to be error correcting and making the new AI is going to be making the new AI next gen at the chips, and it's just going to have this feedback loop that's going to get out of control, and then the sex robots are going to take over. But
that's Elon Musk bloody Tesla Optimus things. Right. And like he's gonna make them cat girls, and the second that happens, like humanity's doomed.
Yeah, we're literally doomed. It's like there's like a window of time between like now and the inevitable doom where it's like pretty cool. It's like a nice little window of humanity.
It's cool.
It's nice.
There's a reason why we all adopt it and use it, and then it knows too
until
much
Judgment
about us
Day.
Until Judgment Day, until Sarah.
This is why I don't. This is why I don't recycle, bro.
Exactly, dude. Just throw it in the red bin.
Just throw it in either bin, bro. Because look, I mean, the sun's going to go red giant in 5 billion years. Andromeda is going to. Yeah, I mean, Andromeda is going to merge with the Milky Way in like 2 billion years. These sex robots are going to take over in like 50 years if we don't nuke the planet before then anyway. I don't want to live my life with inferior recycled goods in the interim. Like, I just feel like
I just want the first press. I want original furniture and not secondhand
Yeah.
anything.
No,
Yeah.
it's just jokes. Just jokes. Make sure you recycle peeps.
Do your lessons.
Put it in the color-coded bins.
Yeah,
Do
you got
what?
to.
Do you know what I did? I was looking at a thing, so just a little distraction. I was watching this. Is it Veritasium? I think is the YouTube thing. And he was talking about these PFAS, like forever chemicals, and they all came basically from Teflon. And these Teflon factories that had like put all this these like long chain like carbon atoms with fluorine into the water system, and how it's like everywhere. And anyway, I'll save you the trouble. Don't eat microwave popcorn because
No way, because the lining.
The lining has like
right.
popcorn in it, and then the popcorn like it leaches up with the butter and everything. I was like, what?
Flip.
No microwave popcorn. Are you serious? It's like, bro, you are.
I mean, it's not hard to make popcorn, all things considered. You don't need to microwave it, but
it's not a huge
so
sacrifice.
easy. It's so easy.
And you know, maybe use a cast iron pan or and maybe don't.
You can get little machines that do it. The little fun, happy machine.
I guess it's just we've got so much like microplastics in us already.
Oh, absolutely, from everything.
That it's and there's like
I love that. Like Spider-Man pointing at. Yeah.
Go ahead. What's the Spider-Man thing?
Okay. Spider-Man like pointing, and it's like me, my dad, and like his dad, and it's like asbestos, like lead, and then microplastics.
Yeah, everyone is. Yeah, every generation like blames the previous generation, but I mean that's the problem. Is like, so they were making these. So the fridges, before they had Freon in fridges, they had some other chemical for the compressor, and it was leaking and like killing people in like the 50s. And then this guy was trying to come up with some sort of new refrigerant, and he's playing with fluorine and eventually created Teflon. And then they used it in the military and all sorts of stuff, and eventually on pans. But it's not so much that there's just like fluoride in the water, like the added fluoride. It's the fact that these plants, like these chemical plants, are manufacturing like this C8 molecule and this other one, these PFAS things, and then they just dump it in the wastewater, or actually it was in the Ohio River, and then all these people were getting like cancer and stuff. Like, it's real terrible. But then like polar bears have it in there, so it gets into the clouds. Like, it's like you've saturated the planet with this PFAS to the point where now it rains like PFAS, like microplastics and stuff like that, like in Antarctica and the Arctic.
Sure.
So for some reason there's all these places around the world that shouldn't have it, but it's in everyone's blood, and it's crazy. So they were actually saying that when you donate blood is one way of actually getting your microplastics down.
Oh, that's rough, because someone's getting them.
Yeah, but then you generate more blood cells, right? Like, because
I see the logic.
as a
we bring back like the bloodletting thing just to get rid of all the microplastics.
Isn't that sad? We fucked ourselves up this badly.
Yeah.
And then we got all the safety officers that are around making sure people don't cut themselves accidentally nowadays. We're all plugged up, and I got
in trouble for that. I was doing some work on site, and I was using a blade to cut some stuff, and this guy come over and he's like, "Oh, you know, you don't have your license for like the sharps license. Like, you need like a license to fucking climb a ladder on the side."
Slanted roof.
Yeah. And I'm just going, what? I'm like,
oh wow,
I'm not gonna cut myself. Like, it's just I'm just cutting this bit of tape or whatever. And he's, "Oh, I'm gonna have to write you up." I'm like, "Bro, I don't even work here. Like, I'm just like a consultant. Like, write me up all you want." I'm literally not on. I got written up like a few times for all sorts of shit, trip hazards and everything. I'm just like, not wearing my safety goggles. I'm like, there's nothing out here. What? I can't see.
When you've got a job, you've got to justify the job, right?
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
safety
that's so
officer. I
frustrating.
mean, most of that is just standing around unless you go around like finding people.
This guy was like a parking inspector, just like in the bushes, just waiting for me to do something dodgy. And he's up, 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 up.
So
Anyway, what's up, Dexter? There, thanks for the good comments there. Yep,
HEXican.
and glad to see you're working away.
Howdy.
No doubt on the vouch stuff.
Yeah, vouch is looking good actually. I just looked at the chart the other day to see how it's going against Pulse, and it's like almost up, you know, small amounts for crypto, but yeah, for just staking your Pulse, it's almost up like 1%, I think, versus Pulse. So over time, that's just gonna keep climbing, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
That's it. That's the long-term sort of strategy.
Yep.
It's
probably better than Hex rewards at the moment.
Yeah, the yield on Hex has been, because the OA is so staked. 2 more weeks. But I suspect what will happen is the OA will start EESing stakes at some point, and that will, that will pay out some yield to stakers. That will encourage people, and also, I guess, randomize the yield. But we've had a lot of big players getting like cashing out. If you have a look on chain, we've seen a lot of like big players selling heaps. So it's like, when I heard who it was who was selling, and it was like, that's disappointing because I didn't know, but maybe other people already knew. I'm not
friend of the show.
Yeah, bro, I was so disappointed. I was like, this is probably why everyone, gives him a hard time. And I'm like defending him all the time. And then I'm like, okay. I didn't realize that this guy's just fully been selling like hundreds of millions of Hex at the lows. I'm like, far out, man. So anyway, I retract some of the I won't, let's not go too negative. But the thing was, I was thinking about it and I'm going, it's actually a good thing, because selling at these lows, like, you don't want these guys in the system if they're going to be selling at the highs, right? Like, they'll be extracting just millions and millions of dollars at the highs, like every day, if you let them. So for them to be selling at the lows, it's like, good. Bye, Felicia. See ya. We can go up now. Like, get out.
Agreed, 100%. Well, I still don't think they're sold out or shaken out, so to speak. And yeah, get out now, please, because there's a lot of people out here that are, that really have a true long-term mindset as well. I know we've all got liquid bags. We'll all want to hit the sell button at some point in this cycle with some of it, but we've got much longer term mindsets willing to hold on. So get out.
Look, I mean, there was an interesting thing I saw with I think it was Jack Mollers again at the Bitcoin conference, where he was talking about the original HODL meme, and sort of people sort of think that it's the acronym for hold on for dear life. That's what I always thought it was, but in fact it was this this on sort of Bitcoin Talk. There was a comment. This is a guy who'd been maybe drinking a little bit too much. So this is in December 18, 2013. So I'll just read it out real quick, because there's spelling mistakes all through this. So hence the HODL instead of holding.
Yeah.
But it says, I typed that title twice because I knew it was wrong the first time. Still wrong, whatever. Girlfriend's out at a lesbian bar, BTC crashing. Why am I holding? I'll tell you why. Because I'm a bad trader. And I know I'm a bad trader. Yeah, you good traders can spot the highs and lows, piff, pat, piffy, wing, wong, wang, just like that, and make $1 million bucks, no problem, bro. Likewise, the weak hands are like, oh no, it's going down, I'm going to sell. And then they're like, oh my God, asshole. When the smart traders, anyway, there's a lot of abuse that goes on here. And you should have sold, blah, blah, blah. And then, yeah, you're only selling a bear market if you're a good day trader or an illusioned noob. The people in between hold. In a zero-sum game such as this, traders can only take your money if you sell. I've had some whiskey. Actually, on the bottle, it's spelled whiskey.
That's awesome. And he was just mining in 50 blocks or whatever.
This is 2013.
BTC, man.
So he's mining like full stack node. Probably had hundreds of Bitcoin, and then he's just drunk and just go on some tirades, misspelling hold as hodl.
Yeah,
but the sentiment is the same. It's like, yeah, you can try and trade, but you probably get wrecked, or you can just hold. And if he knows he's a bad trader, then like maybe it's just better just to like, because you can buy it back when it starts going up, or then he can just back to where he was.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was pretty funny.
It is funny. Just to do with that and the whole trading side, some people make it sound, so easy and like they're doing it all day and stuff. And that's cool if you can sit there. But the other reason some people don't like to trade is because they don't want to give it that mental, put that on your mind all the time, and sit there, the anxiety it might cause, or like whatever it happens to be. They just want to sit back and just wait for it to appreciate over time. So each to their own. And I just find that a lot of people, like I was talking earlier about some spaces that have been on, people are like, oh, how are you not making money and this and that? And it's like, well, yeah, some of us don't want to be sitting at a computer all day and staring at the charts either. So
you might make more money at your job than you are doing trading. So it's not 100%. Interest to be sitting there trading if you actually have a high income job as well. So
yeah, and like what else are you invested in? Yeah, are you invested in family? All sorts of other things as well.
Good point. Do you put a price on time with your children? Yeah, exactly. Like, what's that worth? So yeah, some people value that, some people don't. But
sure.
Look, I think there's lots of stuff out there. In fact, I had a clip here from Ross Ulbricht from the Bitcoin conference.
Yeah.
And that was an interesting perspective because obviously he'd been in jail for however long.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll just play this. Hang on 2 secs.
Now, if you can believe it, I actually got used to being in prison. After so many years, it just became normal. In order to keep my head and stay strong, I had to accept what had happened to me and where I was. Couldn't fight it every moment of every day. But there's a danger in that. The danger of complacency. I found that we can lose the desire for freedom. We can get used to our chains. We can forget that they're even there.
Oh goodness, I gotta watch that whole thing.
I thought that was really poignant, like, because he's obviously a little bit traumatized as well, and he's just
he's speaking really well though. He's like very confident.
Yeah, and just like that idea, I think it's a Jefferson quote. I'm not entirely sure, but it's something along the lines of the price of freedom or liberty is eternal vigilance. And it's this idea that you can't reach, it's like it's asymptotic, like you can't reach a state of freedom because you are always having to fight and always having to keep, on guard for people that are trying to roll back your freedoms.
Mm.
So I thought, wow, that's actually really interesting, the way that he talked about the complacency as well, that he was sort of in a cage and he found as like a coping mechanism, it was easier for him to sort of embrace the new norm of not having freedom. And then he kind of almost gave up. And then that's the complacency. And then that's his life. He doesn't see, I mean, that helped him cope. but it's only when he got out that he realized, oh, holy crap, like I was actually in a pretty bad place, because like this is what real freedom is. He can actually go out with his family, he can travel, he can do things. But it's sort of like a metaphor almost for like, you know, people don't realize that they're the frog being slowly boiled. And when governments try and take certain freedoms and liberties away, it's like it's easy to be complacent, it's easy not to push back, and then eventually you kind of don't even realize that you're in this sort of truncated, you know, freedom world or paradigm.
For sure.
So yeah, pretty hectic.
That was good. I got some people I'd like to show that to, actually. I'll watch the whole thing and then send some snippets through, because there's just people you talk to, you know, and they just don't realize what is happening, you know, whether they think it's conspiracy or, you know, and I don't even feel like I go deep into you know, conspiracies and things like that. It's just like at the very beginning of it, and they're just like, what are you talking about? Like, you know, that's not happening, you know, and stuff like that. But it's just because they're used to it, and they've just let themselves go. So full on.
Look, I love a good conspiracy. I find it entertaining. Like, I don't necessarily subscribe to all of them, but I do like to entertain different conspiracies and things like that. Hence, I've got the hex crop circle in the background there. But you know, some of this stuff is certainly interesting. It makes you ponder some of the bigger questions as well. Like if you're looking at, you know, non-human intelligence, you're looking at all sorts of things. You're also sort of wondering, you know, why are we here, and how are we here, and is there life out there? They're big questions. They deserve, you know, people to spend a bit of time thinking about them, and a lot of people don't.
It is true that people are conspiring. Like that is a true statement. Like there is powers that be that are have an interest in keeping you down. To put it, like sum it up and put a nice bow on it. But like they're very, very, very good at making it like not. Make it like so dismissible and so shady, and you know, they use the media, they use, you know, character assassinations to individuals stepping out of line. It's that kind of thing.
And sometimes hiding in plain sight as well. I notice sometimes that the tools that they'll use is they'll say exactly what's happening, and then people are like, that can't be right, because they're hiding something. You know, you're like, well, maybe, but even if that was true, that would be scary enough. Like what they said.
For sure.
But people don't even believe it when they do say it. So look, the other thing, I guess, is that when you're starting to peek behind the curtain, I feel like maybe crypto people are a little bit more open-minded to this. So, you know, we're looking at, you know, novel ways of harnessing energy in physics, like through 0-point energy or through some other manner of physics, or it could be, you know, questioning the narrative on what has happened in world history. You know, how wars have been started, and the reasons for those wars and how those wars took place.
That's a good example, actually.
You can use a few different, like how the Vietnam War started. You know, for example, how they fought.
The Bolshevik revolution was against white Christians. No one knows that.
Yeah, right.
It was genocide against white Christians. Yeah,
that's a Russian communist.
That's what led to the Soviet Union.
Right.
And in that revolution, it was genocide against white Christians.
Yeah, right.
And that's never told. That's never told.
But there's all sorts of things like the Vietnam thing, or how that started. It's a little bit dubious as to whether that sub or whatever was actually fired at, or whether they just, you know, there's all sorts of things. Like you could look at other wars, you know, Afghanistan wars, let's, you know, say, for example, but even like Pearl Harbor, whether they knew or not, or, you know, about that, the Japanese fleet that was coming. I mean, there's lots of things like that where you kind of go, oh, wow. So history, like, is not maybe exactly how they've portrayed it to be.
It's a bit ambiguous.
It's a little ambiguous. Yeah. I mean, even the Nazis apparently were on meth.
Like, they were.
That's no joke.
Pharmaceutical, like grade stuff.
pharmaceutical
Yeah.
grade. There's a whole doco on it.
There was a
about,
name for it. Yeah.
Yeah, they
There's-
didn't call it meth. It was like, but in the 40s
Yeah.
or whatever, or late 30s in Germany, they were giving out a amphetamine derivative to like over the counter everywhere, and all of the German like infantry and the soldiers were prescribed it. They were given it. So that's why they had the Blitzkrieg attack, where all of those tanks could overtake, French territories or whatever in such a hurry. It's like, yeah, because they didn't sleep for 2 days because they were all on meth. And it's like, oh wow, that kind of changes the way that I was taught,
Yeah.
some of this stuff. So anyway, there's interesting things like that. There's also interesting things about the monetary policy and how like
It's all the raw.
Yeah, just like ever since we deviated from the gold standard, and then they can just print money, and it's not.
It's a great book. I've discussed it before. I think it's called the Creature from Jekyll Island, which is about how they invented that system. And it was invented in an island called Jekyll Island in America. And that like whole thing was orchestrated by the powers that be. I can't remember the name. It was like Rockefeller or something, like those guys who just invented the system to keep people to keep them at the top and keep the people using their currency paid off enough to use the currency, but to debase it at a rate that they can get rich off.
Yeah. So like in terms of the $37 trillion debt that's there in the US, it seems like the only real way that they plan on getting rid of it and improve these metrics like debt to GDP, like to reduce the debt to GDP ratio, is by debasing the currency. And so that is effectively why we have inflation. And that's why we'll always have inflation. And so that's why you get, when people try and cut down expenditure, like Doge or whoever, it's like a drop in the ocean. Like, apart from it being bad politics and, unpopular, it doesn't really, affect like that ratio of like debt to GDP, because you have to be able to produce more. So really what you want is more credit in the system. You want more banks to be lending more money, and you want the interest rates to be low so that that credit is cheaper, and you need to have more liquidity. So you need the banks to be able to sort of buy the treasury bonds from the Fed. So if the Fed's buying the treasury bonds off the US Treasury, and then they're selling them to, say, other banks, and then the banks, because of the fractionalized reserve, they can borrow like 9 times as much as the reserve. So when they buy the treasury off the Fed, then they can borrow up 9 times that amount, and then they can loan that out. So then there's more liquidity out there, and then it flows on into markets. So when you look at that, it's like, it's inevitable that the more you crank up the credit in the system, the more inflation is just inevitable. And there's literally no way of stopping it. So the only way to combat it is to hold things that are scarce. Yeah, there's no buy and burn. Exactly. Yeah. So that you have to hold assets that are scarce, like Bitcoin or real estate or whatever. And then I guess ideally you can buy things that have leverage on those things, like Pulse and Ethereum. But yeah, so anyway, there was a video from this Bitcoin conference. I'll play it in the background. It goes for about 3 minutes, but it is pretty good. It's from this Lynn Alden, and 2 minutes 50. So yeah, I'll put it on. Bear with me.
And the short reason is because it matters for asset prices, especially anything scarce. So this chart shows in the gold line is the price of gold, and the dark line, the black line, is real interest rates. And again, we've historically seen that there's been a very strong correlation between these two things. And so for those that don't know what I mean by real interest rates, this one is specifically the 10-year Treasury yield minus CPI inflation. And the reason these two charts, gold and real Treasury rates, are so worth comparing is because they're the two primary reserve assets globally. They're the ones that compete with each other at that scale. And gold, of course, is pretty scarce. The supply grows by an estimated 1 to 2% per year, but you don't get paid any yield to own it. If anything, you incur an expense for storing it. Whereas Treasury yields, dollars and treasuries, they grow at a much faster supply growth, but then you get paid this yield to own them. And during periods where the yield is rather high compared to measured levels of inflation, some of the investors that might otherwise buy gold get enticed to come back to the dollar and the Treasury system. But then during periods of time where the yields are not high enough compared to inflation, many investors flock to gold. They basically say, if I'm not going to get paid anything on my treasuries, why would I own treasuries that are way more abundant than gold? And historically, this has been a very strong correlation. High real rates means higher gold prices. And on this chart, the real rate is inverted. So lower means higher real rates. And again, as you've seen over the past several years, this one in particular starting around 2022, we've had a complete decoupling in the price of gold and real rates. There's something new is happening here in this kind of fiscally dominant environment. When we look at what the Fed, what their tool is to control credit growth, it's mainly interest rates. If they want to slow down the economy, slow down credit growth, and try to slow down inflation, they jack up interest rates to try to make borrowing less attractive. On the other hand, if they want to accelerate things, they tend to lower interest rates. The problem is that, many decades ago, when federal debt was low and most of the money creation was coming from private sector, whenever they raised interest rates, they would slow credit growth. They would slow the private sector faster than they would blow out fiscal deficits. The problem now is that now that they have over 100% of GDP, which only happened in recent years, when they raise interest rates, they ironically increase the federal deficit at a faster pace than they slow down private sector credit growth. Basically what that means is they don't have brakes anymore. The train, nothing stops this train because there's no brakes attached to it anymore. Or another way of putting it is the brakes are heavily impaired.
Wow.
Yeah, so I found that really interesting, the way that she was saying that the correlation between gold and real rates had almost like an inflection point where it decoupled. And now they're in a situation where ever since that's happened, and then the debt to GDP is so high, and the interest on the debt is so high that even if when they're using the interest rate as like a lever to change, where people are buying and selling sort of thing, and borrowing and making money cheaper and more expensive, that's no longer working. So I thought, oh, holy shit, that's a little bit scary, because that's historically how that free fall. Yeah. So if that's true, so normally if inflation gets too high, they can just crank the interest rates up really, really high, and then that'll stop people from spending as much, and that'll bring inflation down. But she was implying that even if you crank the rates right up, it's not going to, because then that means the deficit goes up. Because if you crank the rates up to stop people from spending, your debt goes too high. I was like, oh shit. And then it's like, so then how do they bring the debt to GDP ratio down? They can't crank up the interest rates to stop inflation, all that sort of stuff. They have to print more money. They have to, this is what we've always been saying, that they really have to print more, and that there has to be more liquidity in the system and more credit. Yeah. Because, it's the only way for businesses to borrow and to be able to produce more, to upscale their businesses so that they can produce more. That's what GDP is, right? It's about how much they produce. So that's the denominator, like that you need to get up to bring this ratio down. And part of that is the Fed needs to cut rates and start buying more treasuries, but then just not playing ball. So it's this real battle that's going on between the Fed and the US government at the moment, which is surprising.
Maybe they're just going to crush the dollar to bring in a CBDC. Maybe that's the plan all along.
Yeah, I mean the Dixie has been getting crushed. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, same with the AU against the dollar.
So this is the strength of the American dollar with respect to other currencies, and so it's certainly been going down for the entire of 2025. So yeah, S&P 500 still going up. We've had the bounce from the tariff thing, the tariff FUD, but I think total 2 is not looking good. So yeah, really Bitcoin dominance is still high, and we need ETH basically to pull its finger out. And it hasn't been doing too badly apart from like yesterday. I was kind of hoping that this would sort of flag upwards.
Yeah.
In fact, this is a giant inverted head and shoulders as well. I saw a post here. So this is an inverted chart, but whoever this guy is, Ash, did it for lols, and he's done it like, this is the head and shoulders, but it's saying it's going to break to the upside. So yeah, I really hope ETH can do it. Apparently, the tide is starting to turn for ETH, the longest stretch of inflows for 2025. So in terms of the ETF, Ethereum ETF inflows, it's like the longest positive, stretch. Yeah, so there's a few things that it's happening with Ethereum. I think I mentioned before that BlackRock had sold a bunch of BTC and bought, like, it was like 1,200 BTC they sold, and they bought 7,000 ETH. But also they bought, in addition to that, they bought $73 million worth of Ethereum. So yeah, I mean, hopefully the tide is turning for ETH, and I think that's probably what we're all waiting for, is ETH to kick ass, and then the rest of the alts can go up as well.
Do you think that's about the right time, given the cycle we're in? As in relation to where Bitcoin and how it's been moving, do you feel like it's a bit soon for that ratio to start changing, or it's about the right time? Because I would have expected it to start to reverse, when Bitcoin was a lot higher than it is now. Given the fact that I'm thinking it'll probably get to Bitcoin will probably get to about 180 or something this cycle.
That's a really good point, man. I think if you look at previous ETH BTC ratios, after the halving, this is 2017.
Mm-hmm.
The ETH BTC ratio, it sort of went up. Let's have a look. So really from the lows to the highs, it really only it was over, let's call it 180 days.
Okay.
So what's that? Is that 6 months?
Yep.
So 180 days. So over a 6 month period, it went from almost the all-time low after the halving to the all-time high after the halving for that cycle.
Yep.
And then now let's have a look for the 2021 cycle, ETH BTC. It went from, let's say from after the halving, let's keep it real.
Yep.
So after the halving, that's the low point. To the high, I mean, you've got to say it's the second top really, but it did most of the move in 145 days.
Yep. So it rips pretty quick.
So it's pretty quick in terms of ETH. And then from there, it made a slightly higher high.
Yep.
But really, that was almost the whole move. So what's that, like 4.5 months?
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, and it's getting shorter. that's the other correlation there, is that it went from 6 months to 4.5 months. So are we going to see a 90-day period where it goes from like the
Yeah.
ETH-BTC ratio goes from all-time low to all-time high after the halving? Maybe. That would be crazy. A 3-month. I mean, I still think that, you know, BTC is going to top out like mid-November, but let's see, because that means it only really has to, the ETH has to start pumping in like August, right?
Exactly. I was watching a stream with some like stocks guys and that yesterday, and one of them was basically putting it out there that he thinks BTC has topped, and that it's, you know, gonna start going down. And you know, most people don't think that's true, but who knows? You know, imagine if it has topped. That'd be pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But I really think
it's,
we're still waiting for it to keep climbing.
It's certainly possible, right? But I think, you know, what I've been talking about with all that the global liquidity and the current state, it seems to me that they really have no choice but to print more money, print more supply.
I think so.
Like the system with credit, and then make it drop interest rates. Like they're in a really bad situation with the debt to GDP ratios. So, and that's obviously what Trump is like pushing. Yeah. So at some point, Jeremy Powell has to capitulate, right? Like they have to drop rates and they have to change their policy. It's a bit sad that we're sort of reliant on this pseudo arm of government, like the Federal Reserve, like that has so much power.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't think the American founding fathers would want the Federal Reserve and the centralized banks to have that sort of power. I'm pretty sure that's like exactly the
that's how it creeps in, though. They find loopholes and things like that, and it just slowly creeps back in its own capacity over time.
Yeah, so like obviously as an Australian, we don't have that here, but it's one of the things that I've always admired about America is that they have those tenets of the founding fathers about freedom of speech and those sorts of things, and some of those, I think, because I think they were really against the central banks. That was it. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame that we are reliant on it, but hopefully they're going to do the right thing. Otherwise, I reckon it's like full global, you know, recession, depression. That's the alternative, right?
Yep.
And
well,
then
Elon reckons that's going to be happening in the later half of this year. That's one of the posts he made. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wicked.
A little soon, I reckon, but not far from it. I reckon it's not going to be good.
I still think, you know, September, October, November, in those 3 months, it could be enough for us to get an alt season.
A little pump in.
All right.
Alt season.
Yeah, that's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking.
When's that? Alt
like
season.
Not alt week or whatever that we had at the end of last year.
Yeah.
At least
3 months.
One whole month, please.
Yeah.
3 months. Give us 3 months of up only.
3 months.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I don't know if we'll get 6 months of up only. I mean, that's what I was sort of hoping, but it's not looking that way. Unless this is like the final capitulation before up only. I think at this point, the only thing that's up only is the debt in the system.
Yeah, that is
inflation.
Indeed.
The biggest chart of all. The biggest gainer.
That's the only thing you can guarantee will be up only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Speaking of alt seasons and juicy charts, you should show us the PulseChain ecosystem, how that's going.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. I'll whip it out, but you may not like what you see.
Just for a little pump. Yeah, that's it.
it's a little bit scary. So see, this is the thing. I don't like to, you know, fud my own bags, but really, if I was being just brutally honest, it closed below the 20 MA here on the daily on the 28th of May. So like uptrend over.
It's got a lot of work to do. Yeah.
So like until it closes above the 20 MA, we're in a downtrend. And it's been like that since the 28th of May. So over a week now. And then it closed below the 50 MA or whatever that is there. So yeah, the 50 MA as well. And it's not holding support. Like there's support lines here and it didn't hold. And it's not making higher highs. If anything, well, it hasn't made a lower low here yet.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, maybe if I zoomed out on the weekly, then maybe that looks slightly better. Yeah, it does. So on the weekly, it's making higher highs. But in fact, if you go on the weekly, it closed the weekly chart back on 10th of Feb below the 20-week MA. So
yeah,
really maybe you should have sold then.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in terms of TA, like it's not great. And I think the same thing goes for like look at this sea of red here. Hex is down 9% for the day, closed below the 20 MA on the daily, 26th of May. It's below them all. Yeah, on the weekly, it doesn't look good either. So I guess all you can really hope is that we get some sort of white swan catalyst. And so, yeah, even all of the memes are fairly down as well. I don't know why you wanted me to do this, bro. You're just like, you know,
just for you know, transparency. And for
yeah, I suppose so. Look, teddy bear's down 10%. Gray's currency's down 10% for the day. So the memes are not doing terribly well. I mean, that looks very similar to Pulse, I guess.
Yeah,
if you look at the Gray's currency in terms of Pulse, even in Pulse terms, that looks like it's in a downtrend. So we've got downtrends on downtrends on downtrends.
Yeah.
We've got leveraged downtrends.
Absolutely.
So I guess that's the way it works with liquidity. I don't know. Is there any charts though in crypto that are good right now? Like even outside of our
Ash
ecosystem?
could tell us if he did a 10x on something recently. Ash, what's
Ash.
the coin?
What the hell?
Holding out.
What was that?
Like,
What's the coin, Ash?
Tell
Come on.
us what's been going up, because look, I think a lot of this stuff will
Maybe
bounce.
it was a stonk.
Like I'm not actually bearish. Like I just think, you know, it's just, this is how you. So there was a thing, I can't remember who said it, but they were talking about confident buying. And it's like, you will never be confident in buying something that's down like that.
Yeah.
You don't get that. You only get confidence from buying tops, because it's been going up for so long and so hard. It's been going up that you're just like, now you're confident. That's the worst time to buy it.
Exactly.
So you want to make money in trading, and like you can't, they're mutually exclusive. You do not get confidence and a good deal. You can't have it. By definition, the fact that you're confident in buying something and you know this is a good buy means that you're probably buying too high. So anyway, that's why you have to take your emotions out of it and just say, believe in whatever it is you believe in IH's ego, whether you believe in like that he won't want to see these charts be down forever, that he'll want to pump them at some point, or whether you believe in, you know, RH's tenets of like decentralization, like true decentralization, true permissionlessness and trustlessness. Like if that's what you believe in, and it doesn't really matter what it is, but as long as you buy it, like I think you'll be better off in the long run. But yeah, it's like choose your meme.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I've
anyway,
been confidently buying RH coins, but I might look like a madman in the future, or I might, you know, it might be a good thing. But I've been doing it confidently, so we'll see.
Yeah, well, that's it. If you take the emotion out of it, and you're confident for a different reason, because you're confident in the man or in the community. Your confidence is placed in something else rather than just price.
Yeah, no,
So,
exactly. That's true.
but yeah, if you look around, Solana's doing pretty poorly at the moment as well. It's also in a downtrend. And I think if you look at the Solana BTC ratio, that is starting to look, I mean, I talked about this a while ago, but I was saying it's starting to do the ETH BTC, where once it rolled over, it went on this epic downtrend forever. Like, ETH BTC since the merge has just been marching down. It's like Sol is starting to do that.
Yep.
So that's kind of scary if you're heavy into Sol. I mean, Sui had that hack or whatever, exposed them a little bit in terms of centralization. That's been going down as well. That's Sui BTC as a a ratio. I mean, maybe if you put it on like a slightly different,
43 reckons he's been waiting 700 weeks for alt week.
Alt week. Yeah, we need alt season, and we can't just have these alt weeks.
Exactly. Yeah.
But look, there's been things I have seen. I think AVAX was looking at tokenizing like real estate, and I think XRP or something like that, tokenizing some real estate, so you could, because obviously in the future, like we're talking about, I mean, the AVAX chart looks pretty trash against BTC anyway. But like we're talking about, just in general, where crypto is heading, because if people inflation is going to go through the roof and scarce assets are going to become harder to purchase with your purchasing power getting diluted, then over time people are going to not be able to buy houses. So they're only going to be able to buy fractions of houses, and the only way to do that is by tokenizing them, because you can't buy 0.3 of a house unless you put it on the blockchain.
Right. Yeah,
So
I see.
I think there are things like that that are happening in the background. AVAX and XRP, I noticed
I
there was
bought
something
two rooms in a house.
Well,
Just two.
But you could buy 0.23
Yeah.
of a 5x2. You know what I mean? Like, or 0.7 of a 4x1. Like, it's like, it doesn't, once you tokenize it, you can buy fractions. It becomes fungible, whereas effectively real estate is non-fungible at this point.
No, it's big
So,
thing.
Yeah, there's that, that's happening in the background. There's a few things like that, like even they were tokenizing some other real world assets, like I think stocks and bonds. And so you can see where this is kind of heading. And I mean, stable coins, obviously, they're just, they're going to want to print them. They're going to want to be able to, I think Tether is one of the large, I think I had a note here. So Tether was the world's 7th largest buyer of US treasuries. The 7th largest buyer of US treasuries. So there are ways in which that they can create these companies where they can issue stable coins, back them with treasuries. So then it increases the demand for US treasury bonds, which reduces the yield. And so, and then they can just print more money effectively, more stable coins. And you see how
and leveraged.
You can see how where it's heading anyway. It all ends in inflation. Oh crap.
Down the toilet.
Anyway, so just get some, what's it, Skibbity toilet coin now.
Yeah, I know, man. That's the only thing going up.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh, okay. So there was actually some comments here before we wrap it up. 700 weeks for alt week. Yeah, that's funny. Kids have two choices: become a judge or a politician, make the most inheritance. Yeah. G'day, sell pressure. G'day, hands. Why is it always down when we stream? I don't know. Like, it's not encouraging us to stream. It's like there's a bad feedback loop. Ink
Yeah.
Ink on Solana. I don't know what that is. I haven't looked at the charts today. Yeah, you're welcome. You're going to have a nice surprise there. Tin Top, what is up? And then what is the best deal on core coins? I guess that's one way of looking at it. What's the best deal? Let's have a look here. So if I go core coins, the best deal is Hex, 11, nearly 12% down. So bargain basement prices here. It's a
Deals,
we're
deals,
going.
deals.
What's the thing where we're going out of business sale?
Yeah.
You know the rug stores that are like always going out of business.
It's
They're
funny
always
because it's the
closing
rug store too.
Nice.
Oh,
But it's so true. It's so
Too many
true.
meme coins. It's a rug factory. We're going out of business.
It works.
12% down. Come in. It's a stock
going
take
out
sale.
of
End of
sale.
financial year. Stock take
Yeah.
sale.
You know,
It just
when you talk
built.
like what's the best deal, they've all got their different factors, don't they, as to what could be the best deal for the future. Because like Hex has its staking and it's, you know, it's long term type thing there to lock it up. And then PulseX has the buy and burn, which I'm really bullish on. And Pulse, in my opinion, would be, if we were going to be listed on exchanges, that would be the first one to be listed on an exchange. So, you know, it's really that's why if I do buy, I tend to, you know, go for all of them, because you don't know which one's going to have what happen. You know, the most bullish case happen first, really, do you? And Hex has the lowest liquidity, so it has the most chance to pump.
Yep. And let's not forget, like, jokes aside, you can actually pump this fairly easily. Like if you put in, you know, decent sums of money into this low liquidity environment. So I haven't used this in a while, but remember this Pampy.app?
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah. So say you did an even split across the four, you know, the big four.
Yeah.
And then so you put in, so I don't know. Oh, so here you go. So you can put in sell pressure. So even if you put in like, that's right.
Yeah.
Good evening, sell pressure. What does he say? Good afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah. How are you doing today?
Complaining. Yeah. How are you doing today? While pressing sell.
Yeah.
So if you did say 50% sell pressure, and I don't know if this is set just to be like 100 million. Oh, so this is because the away wallets have got a maximum of like, you know, well, it was like about 300. Oh, yeah, we could look it up. So it's like look into rh.com. Okay, so 400 million. If you just put that in as like a rough number, does it matter if I go live liquidity? I don't know. And then the ETH price.
That's a lot to be punching in though, 400 mil.
Yeah.
Why don't we do like 50 mil? See what happens if someone came in with 50 mil.
Sure, let's do it. But let's just say here, so you put in the entire stack of the OA wallets. You can get Hex to $18, Pulse to 2 cents. And we're talking a 3000x, you know. So like, let's not shit ourselves. You can, even if you drop this down, let's do it 10%. Like let's say 40 million. Let's make it like ultra conservative and say how much would that change the chart if you put in 10% and then split it each way with a 50% sell pressure. That would be a 47x. So Hex would be 26 cents. Pulse would be 0004. So it would be a 4x on SAC, but a 13.5x on now.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I would
41
take
million is not a lot.
Yeah, so 10% of the OA bags with a 50% sell pressure and you're still getting like a 13x or a 47x, like I'll take that any day of the week.
And look at that.
Let's crank it up. Let's make this, 80%.
It's interesting to see the X's on ink there because the liquidity is so low. It had even heaps of X's even over Hex. And given the fact that the inflation's low on ink at the moment, it's pretty bullish because you can't just farm it like you used to.
Yeah, and let's put in, say, so 20% of the OA SAC, so 80 mil, with 80% sell pressure. And Hex has done a 31x to 17 cents, and Pulse has done nearly a 10x, and PulseX 16x. So when you think of it like that, it's kind of like, it doesn't worry me so much. Like, down 9% for the day. Oh no, 9%. It's like, yeah, but 31x higher. If the 20% of the OA bags was used with 80% sell pressure, I'm going to get a 30x. That's 100%. You know what I mean? So it's like 3,000%. So then I'm down 9%. Who cares? So yeah.
That's
like,
it.
It's just one way of thinking of it.
Exactly. And that's including the OA buying, but that's not including other buys or mass adoption. That's just including selling. So there's huge potential there. But yeah, bring this chart up. I want to see it.
So is this a thing? There's ink on Solana.
Well, I tried. There's one called Incentigrate, and we're going to need the full name. Or there's one Incinerator.
Address. Oh, okay. Yeah, I do see. Oh, sorry, I don't have this up. I do see one here, like you say, Incinerator. Is this the one, or
don't think so?
On Sol,
depends
it's got
how
$1 worth of volume. 16 grand. Is this a joke or encrypt? Okay.
Oh, okay. Ash, this better have more than 100K in liquidity.
There's just nothing came up for some reason then. I mean, encrypt, shouldn't it be with an E? Okay. Okay, no, look, it has 824K of liquidity.
Very good.
It is on Sol. Oh my God, that was my phone or something in the background, just like fucking Gemini, just like listening to my conversations. I will look at this for you, Ash, because you're my bro.
That is,
and this might be the one that he did like he was telling us. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'd say
maybe
it's time.
That's not bad. Before, bro. Look, it's only how many days old is this?
Doesn't matter. Solana, get out now.
20th
get
of
out
May.
now.
Yeah, get out now, bro. Get out now and like just thank your lucky stars. How's this Darth Maul candle? Like this is it's wicked both ways. That's crazy.
Absolutely.
So it's the 6th of June. It's been around for about 3 weeks, not even. What I would say is what these things tend to do is they have 3 pumps. Like, I know that's not very scientific, but they tend to they have 3 up points, and then it's nearly always over. So that's just in terms of momentum. There are other ways you can plot it. Like I'm talking about shit coins here, right? Like I'm talking, if you were sort of doing a trend line that goes like this, and then if it goes from like this, and as you can see, as it goes exponential, there's points where it just goes parabolic, and then once it breaks that final, the third move up, it's nearly always down only. So I wouldn't be surprised. That's 1, 2, it's at least 3 there, bro. And I mean, sometimes it might retest it and then it's over, but I would just take that if I were you.
That's pretty decent.
And then
sold yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still got time.
Good
Still got
work.
time.
And then the other thing is just to look at the lines of resistance of support, right? So there's like, this is on the 4 hour, there's support there. I mean, it looks like it's rolling over. That's the scariest looking Darth Maul wick I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Although, look, it has locked liquidity, 99.98% burn. Like, that's a good sign.
Ash is saying in the chat, you know, like a lot of coins, they've got, they talk about they're doing a game and an NFT for the game, an RPG game that might partner up with Activision. Man, if that's true, that would be bullish as for sure.
Yeah.
But you hear those things all the time, like MasterCard is going to start working with XRP and you know, all this sort of stuff. So
one of my favorite crypto games just died the other day, and they're just like, that's it, rug, good luck, bye. I was like, damn. Like it never came out, but there was like a beta and you could play it, and I was happy because I had like I spent $50 on some land. And I was like so pumped for this game to come out, and it just burned. It'd been in production for like 3-4 years.
Yeah, you bought virtual land. Was it virtual land?
Yeah, not as an investment, as like to play
but
the
like
game.
part of the game. Yeah. But that would suck, like because you just know that they've just created that.
It was like, oh man, no, I guess there is nothing good. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
Look, I think let's go back and we'll check this for Ash's sake. We'll check it again next week. I've marked it on the chart, but I would say take your money and run. So that's probably not a good idea for anyone else to try and buy this chart because Ash is going to full dump on your head.
Yeah, he said, don't buy, I might dump at any time.
Yes.
Ash, let's do it live. Come on, let's watch the chart.
That's it. Let's paint
How
the chart.
much can you wick it down?
Yeah. That's gold. Nice work though, Ash. You know,
good work.
Discriminate on profits.
We all love a good pump and dump when you can get them. If you get in early, I think that's the key, right?
Yeah.
Meme coins are different to, you know, long-term investments and things like that. Meme coins, it's like an attention mindset. There's an attention and the focus is on this thing and that everyone is like pumped about it. But eventually people have short attention spans, right? So then their attention moves to something else. And so meme coins, unfortunately, they do not have historically long legs.
That's it. And Ash, by the way, our DMs are open, man. Feel free to send us tip-offs when you got them.
Yeah.
That's it.
Anytime, man, just jump in.
Don't wait for it to go off 1,000% next time and then tell us.
Exactly.
No, all jokes aside, that's good. No, I like to see people doing well. So but yeah, as a general rule with these things, like I'm giving out a few alpha tips and things with these meme coins, but if you sell 50%, you have completely hedged your emotions. So you're like, I don't know what to do. I'm like a 50-50. Should I buy more or sell some? That generally means do nothing. But like if you're in profit, if you sell 50% and it goes down, or you're like, well, at least I got that 50% out, right? And then it goes up, and then you'll find that your 50% is still worth heaps. Like if it goes up another, and then you can keep trimming 50% off as these things go exponential. And you're surprising how well you can do. And then, but then if it crashes, and then once you've taken your principal out, you're just like, oh, it's happy days, let it ride. And then so if it dumps, at least you got that 50% at the top. So I mean that's for real, you know, skibbity toilet coins. Like we're talking, you know, like bottom of the barrel stuff. That I mean, if it was going up over a longer period of time, it was something that you liked, then you just drop that number to like 10% or 5% or something.
The other thing is, if you got in there early, you've obviously got a pretty good portion of coins. You could go into an LP with that, and if it's got high volume, you could, you know, do well with volume as well, and take some profits at the same time. So that would be cool. Done well.
That's it. No, good work, Ash. we'll leave it with you. And yeah, thanks everyone for joining us. Did you guys have anything you wanted to add before we wrap it up?
Hodl.
All good.
Yeah.
Hodl on. Yeah, that was the origin of hodl. It's not even hold on for dear life.
Yeah.
It was
Just hold.
just drunken.
It's just some drunk
drunken.
guy.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
mashing
History.
his keyboard.
That's history.
That's it.
That's it.
But no, legends in the chat as always. And yeah, shout out to the new people that we haven't really seen in here before. So great to have you on.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
give us a like and share on the replay as well.
And yeah, and open up your time frames, you know, zoom out a little bit. Yes, there's some blood in the markets, but like that guy who was mashing his keyboard after drinking whiskey in 2013, talking about the hodl thing, he now, like 12 years later or whatever, would be uber rich because he held on to something that was actually had product market fit. So yeah, I'd say hold on, and we'll see you again hopefully next week.
You beauty. Catch you later.
Awesome.
See you guys.
Thanks, chat. Thanks, guys. Rock on.